Hi my friends, welcome to channel English Playlists, and we continue our playlist English words with examples and English grammar explanations. Words from 121 to 130. So, I think so. So you can also meet I hope so. I hope so. So plus adjective. Remember this structure. It's so interesting. It's so good. She's so beautiful. Your lessons are so effective. It means they, so we need are. Your lessons are so effective. Such. What's the difference between so and such? So the difference is the following. So you need to use such if you have a noun after an adjective, like here. It's such an interesting lesson. So you have a noun after an adjective. Interesting is an adjective and lesson is a noun. So you need to use a or an. You see an because it's a vowel sound. E, interesting. It's such an interesting lesson. It's such a funny story. So you have a noun after an adjective. I see such interesting lessons. See such interesting lessons. So if it's plural, if it's a plural form, if it's more, plural form, more than one, so plural form, more than one, so you don't need to use an article here, so without an article. I see such interesting lessons. You don't need an article between see and such. Good. Who knows it? Who knew it? Who likes it? Who agrees? Who went there? So you see, you don't need do or does with who in present simple, and you don't need did with who in past simple. If the answer is, for example, who likes it? He. Who agrees? She. I know a person who thinks so. I know a person who thinks so. A person, he or she, so you need to use as. Whom. So sometimes you can meet whom, but very rarely. We mostly meet who in modern English. So compare. Who knows it? So you don't need do or does. You don't need does here. But who do you know? We need do because it has a meaning of whom. So whom do you know? Who do you know or whom do you know? But we mostly use who instead of whom. Look, who called you? Who did you call? Because it means whom did you call? Next, whose? Whose bike is it? Bike or bicycle? Whose bicycle is it? I have a friend whose mother works there. It means I have a friend and his mother works there. Whose mother? Computer. I have a computer. Don't forget to put an article if it's a singular noun. Singular noun means one. I have a computer. I have a good computer. If you have a singular noun and an adjective, you also need to think about an article. I have a good computer. Buy Bought. I bought a new computer. Book. I often read books in English. So we say in English. So you can say I often read English books. Or I often read books in English. It's my favorite book, so I really like this book. I booked an apartment, so I wanted to live in that apartment and I paid some money, so I'm going to pay some money for it, or I have already paid some money for it. Thing. I like this thing. This thing is very important. So this thing means it. You need to use is. This thing is very important. And you need to remember this structure. -on plus adjective plus noun. So if it's singular or one. You see, it's an important thing. So you have a noun, an adjective before it, and you need to use an article. An, because it's a vowel sound. Vowel sound. Not a consonant. Not a consonant. So consonant. So consonant is the opposite word. So not a consonant, not a consonant, it's a vowel sound. Okay? And you also need to know this structure. A very plus adjective plus noun. It's a very important thing. You also need to use a, because you see a noun, one, an adjective, very, and a. It's a very important thing. Make. So say make a mistake or make mistakes. Make, made. She made a mistake. She made a big mistake. So you have a noun, singular. She made a very big mistake. Or she made a terrible mistake. Homework. So we say do homework. So we also say do housework. Did you do homework? I did my homework. She gives us too much homework. So we say make a mistake, make mistakes, and we say make money. Make money, and do homework, do housework, and do business. Okay, very good. So for more practice, you can listen and repeat. You're always right. This thing is very cheap. It's a mistake. I always try to do it. It's an expensive thing. The car is new. It was such a boring lesson. I want to speak English without mistakes. It's so interesting. It's such an interesting story. It's an interesting idea. I'll show you my new computer. He isn't old, he is young. It's a very cheap thing. It's such a boring book. I always do it. She makes too many mistakes. How expensive is it? The lesson was so boring. I'd like to speak English without mistakes. This dress is cheap. It's such a boring story. Or it's such a boring book. These things are very expensive. The lecture was so boring. It was such a boring lecture. How old is she? It's such a funny story. The story is so funny. The method is very effective, or the method is so effective. It's such an effective method. All these videos are very informative. I see such informative videos. These videos are so informative. I'm sure it's such a useful channel. Useful means full of use, so this channel really is full of use. Okay, my friends, very good. Let's continue this playlist. Thank you.